The day I effed up by forgetting about the events of yesterday evening. So, my daughter, 2-year-old, ate a Kinder Egg and got a little stamp as the surprise toy. She played with it on paper for a bit but then started stamping her arms and came to me and asked for help with more, which I happily obliged. Anyway, we went about our evening and she went to bed. This morning, my wife was getting her out of her pajamas and saw that both her arms, her tummy, her chest and even her neck had these red marks all over. I'm in bed at this point and I hear her saying whoa. Oh my gosh. And I run in all groggy and see what happened. I'm also just super surprised and concerned and we were trying to figure out what she ate, if she's having an allergic reaction to something, but then I remembered she was playing in the garden. We just moved into this house and the garden has a few plants that are toxic, so we assume the worst. My wife then calls the poison emergency number, they ask for symptoms. No symptoms apart from that, but they were concerned about there being spots on her neck for some reason, so they send an ambulance over. This whole fucking time, I'm just in mild panic and trying to think about everything she's eaten or touched, if we have bed bugs, if there was some sort of other insect involved, and when the ambulance checks her, they realize that the spots just wipe off, we didn't even think to try that. Then it hit me. I was completely mortified, my wife was incredibly annoyed, and the ambulance folks had a good laugh. Thank goodness it was just those fucking stamps. TLDR daughter had a kinder surprise, we thought she was poisoned. The day I effed up by arriving to my mother's family dinner, naked. It's not often my family has get-togethers, as many of us live fairly far distances away, but it turns out everyone's schedules just kind of synced up for once. So my mother, being the kind soul she is, invited us all, me, my partner and my brother and his partner, over for a family dinner. Now we live around 4 hours away by car, usually taking around 5 to get there, including toilet breaks, walking the dog, etc. So after the long drive we arrive about 20 to 30 minutes before the dinner is to be served. So I decide I'm going to grab a quick shower and freshen up. This was my first mistake. My mother's house is reasonably small, 1 bathroom, 2 bedroom, but it's very homely and very cozy. However, it is not the most structurally sound building in the world. I finish my lovely warm shower and stand in front of the sink as I dry my body and start styling my hair and spraying deodorant. Here's my second mistake, I usually have music blasting while I shower and get ready, just always something I've enjoyed, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't getting in the dancing mood. As I start dancing around, I feel the floor start to creak. Bear in mind I'm quite a large guy. And before I could even react I fell straight through the floor down into the kitchen where my mum, grandparents and brother and his partner were all sat at the table waiting for food. I was damp, in pain, smelled like a god, but also stark-ass naked. The worst part. I broke my left ankle and could not stand up. I had to be helped to my feet by my brother and my partner, while my mother got me a towel to cover myself. I'm currently on the couch after a rather embarrassing trip to the hospital trying to rest both my ego and my ankle. I'm sure I'll be a great story a year down the line, but in that moment I wanted to keep falling down to the earth's core. TLDR, had a shower at parents' house, fell through the weak floor and landed butt naked in front of all my family. The day I effed up by inviting a Tinder date over to my house and accidentally meeting his mother. Like many other unfortunate souls, my non-existent dating life has me turning to the dating apps. This particular one is from Tinder. I'd been chatting with this guy a few days and everything was going swimmingly. We had so much in common and were looking for the same things. His pictures were cute and he didn't live too far away. All seemed well. I invited him over to grill out some burgers in my backyard. He asked if he could bring anything, I said sure, bring some bacon for the burgers. He agreed and said he'd be over soon. Given his distance, I expected him to be over in 15 minutes. I started to grill and seasoned the burgers. Half an hour later he messaged me, I've driven by a couple times and chickened out. Are you sure you want me to come over? Maybe a red flag, but I chalked it up to nerves and just said come on, I'm hungry. So this haggard looking guy shows up, much different than his Cedric picture. That's alright, I can move past that. From the minute he walked up, and I kid you not, he did not take a breath. Within the first 5 minutes I knew his life story, from his aunt who hated their grandma to his father who likes to collect taxidermy. Not a single breath. Again I figured he was just nervous. I put the burgers on, and when they're ready he pulls out a Ziploc from his pocket with 2 pieces of bacon in it. He puts them only on his burger. Okay. We sit down at the patio table to start eating. I finished my burger. Before he even started his, he did not stop talking the entire time. When we sit down, he reaches into his pocket, pulls out a vial. It is about 2 inches tall with a cork in it. It's filled with black powder. He must have noticed me staring at it, flipping between if he was about to snort something strange or build some sand art. He said, oh, all super casual. I'd like to introduce you to my mother. I just stared at him for what felt like an eternity. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry or run. I like to bring her to any important event in my life. She also has ashes in this necklace I'm wearing, and in this ring I have on, and this half-sleeve tattoo is for her. Now, mind you, I've lost too many people close to me, and I do not judge people based on their grief cycles, we all cope differently, and I respect that. But homeboy brought a vial of his mother's ashes and set them on the table for our first date. I simply could not. He finally finished his burger, and I made some excuse about having to clock in and finish some work at 9:30 p.m. He texted me before he even got to his car and told me my mother really liked you, I can't wait to see you again. I told him I didn't feel the connection to him or his mother. TLDR Tinder date brought his mother to our first date in an unconventional way. The day I effed up by telling a woman at our first date that her pepper spray is useless. So this actually happened today. A few hours ago. So a friend set me up with this woman because she thought we have similar hobbies and a similar dark humor. We met today the first time for a coffee tea. We were actually having a good time, or at least I thought so. We clicked right away and had a lot to talk and laugh about. After like an hour she suggested to pay our drinks and go somewhere else for lunch, and I happily agreed. As we were about to pay our drink she started searching her purse for her wallet and put various objects on the counter because she seemed like to have a bit of a mess in her purse. One of these objects was a pepper spray. I casually mentioned, after leaving the coffee I'd consider getting a different pepper spray if you plan to defend yourself. This one is quite useless. For a bit of context, I used to test various of pepper sprays and tear gas in the military. We were stupid and young but it was also kind of thrilling. And the product she had was by far the weakest we tested. I just recognized the bottle because it was so bad and thought I should let her know that this is probably not the best option to go with. But she obviously didn't know about that because, well, we just met an hour ago. After this comment our conversation kind of died and she suddenly had a work emergency and had to go. It took me a few minutes until I realized that my comment was beyond creepy without any context. I am definitely not used to meet new people. I hope I've not traumatized her. TLDR, creeped out a woman I've only met an hour before by telling her her pepper spray would be not very effective if she intended to defend herself. Edit, it's all good. She called me, she apologized for running off, I apologized for my weird comment, and we are going out again. Yee. He'll try to not do any weird comments about her precautions again. Edit 2, thanks for blowing this up. She found the post and now we are sending each other screenshots of weird funny comments. Thanks for the entertainment. Edit 3, I am not an expert for defense spray. We were just some bored soldiers with some examples. And this one was outstanding mild bad, that is why I have recognized it. So don't ask me for pepper spray advice.